August 11th, 2014, the world woke up to rather shocking news. Robin Williams was found dead after committing suicide by hanging in his California home. In recent years and even years before that, comedians have come out to narrate and even address their struggle with depression, with some, like Williams, opting to take away their lives rather suddenly, leaving the world distraught and perhaps wondering, why would brilliant minds committed to make people laugh opt to take away their lives rather cheaply? On today's Wednesday Why, we unravel the dark and gloomy reality that sits or stands behind all the laughs, answering the question, why comedians are the most depressed. Welcome to today's Wednesday Why. My name is Kevin Miner. You are an unorthodox reporter. Okay, let me explain. So I came up with this new segment that I'm really excited about. It's basically called Wednesday Why, or you can name it something else. I'm still coming up with the names, but I like Wednesday Why, or finding the Z to your why. No? It sounds cute, man. It's gonna basically answer those curious questions that are always at the back of our minds, but we never know the facts. Like, why are comedians the most depressed? Or are they even, right? Or why do women live longer than men? We know those things, but we never really grasp the facts. This is the channel or the series for you, depending on whether I'll put it as a series or open as a channel. Tell me down below. Why an unorthodox reporter is because I'm doing it in my room. I don't even have a suit. I don't even have a teleprompter. I'm not even a certified reporter. I'm excited about it because it's informative, funny, and I'm going to be having these cuts where I explain and be my witty self. So yes, that's the journey, hoping that it's clear. Back to my reporter on studio. It is quite clear that comedians are highly intelligent. In fact, a study once showed that these are well above or higher than average in terms of intelligence. However, a similar study by CNN Health unraveled that intelligence is very closely linked to depression. Begging the question then, how are brilliant, intelligent minds committed to making people laugh not able to do it for themselves? Legendary psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud once concluded that comedians do tend to use jokes as a relief from some kind of anxiety. Wikipedia refers to it as the sad clown paradox. Basically, this is a contradictory association between comedy and mental disorder. In other words, these comedians will use humor evolvingly to release some form of tension or anxiety that sits within. A common trait that was found in comedians is that they have an interesting, or in some cases an unusual upbringing, which explains why comedians will tend to use jokes from their family things, like my mother used to do this, or my father, or my grandfather, or my grandmother. In fact, a study went on to show that many comedians admitted to be closer to their mothers, but with distant and in some cases disapproving fathers. The study went on to explain, for this mere fact, comedians do tend to grow up seeking approval and sometimes trying to fit in among their peers and in social settings. A retired Oxford University psychologist, Gordon Claridge, went on to conclude or find out that comedians do tend to have two competing strong personalities: an introverted inhedonia, which is basically inability to feel pleasure, and an extroverted impulsiveness. On top of that study, it shows that comedians do tend to be rather sensitive and also suspicious, explaining that this is the mere reason why they are so very good at noticing their environments. They have a sharp sense of their environments because they are always looking at things that would otherwise be normal or mundane to you and make it so funny. Their introverted inhedonia tends to make them social distance, literally, because they don't want to be. See what I did there? Because also the pandemic, so social distance. so social. Unorthodox reporter, remember? Don't judge. But also, it makes them a bit emotionally flat. On the other hand, the extroverted impulsiveness tend to make them seek adventures, be curious about their environments and be social and try to fit in and seek that approval. In conclusion, Gordon Claridge went on to find out that comics do use humor as a form of self-medication. In fact, a similar study carried out in 1975 went on to show that humor makes comedians at times feel powerful in situations that they would otherwise feel powerless. However, the same study found out that comedians do tend to feel somewhat misunderstood, picked on, and even bullied, making them more susceptible to anger, suspicion, and in worst case scenario, depression. Now, remember, these are social beings, right? They have an interesting childhood. It's good. They tend to use comedy as a self-medication. But even with that, comedians do tend to have an ever-present anxiety that all this accrued popularity may fade away even tomorrow. Hence, they tend to work themselves out of exhaustion. You can imagine a situation where a comedian is coming out to perform shows every single week, having a tour around the world, because they tend to believe that's how they can stay relevant, and hence they work themselves towards exhaustion. In conclusion, however, Gordon Claridge puts it succinctly: whether they have personal struggle, whether they are just merely good at observing their environments, one thing is for certain: a comedian does have an interesting life behind all the laughs. And we all do. And at the end of the day, we all do need the laughs. So it's not merely the fact that comedians are the most depressed or they are not depressed. I feel like everyone does have their ongoings behind the scenes, but it depends on how you come out to express it. Comedians do it very well to share the laugh and kind of manage or be or hang in there through their comedy. Yes, like I try to do, doesn't mean that I don't have a complicated past. I do. The mere fact that I'm doing this, it just means I do. But that's all I have for you today. I'm hoping you enjoyed it. Do tell me how you found my reporting skills. I'll be quick to answer to that. If you compliment, say something nice, please. Say something nice. Do subscribe, like, share this. Tell me if I drop this in my YouTube channel, that is. Tell me if you'd prefer a different channel for this, or I should just keep it going as a Wednesday Why on this series. I'm excited to keep them coming, so do tell me that. Otherwise, until next time, boys and girls, bye.